This is Talvin Talks. This is Talvin Talks.
Hello there, guys. Well, you've come here for the gossip. Well, you have it. Well, obviously, here by the title, all the introduction. Yeah, I wanted to just speak because I think a lot of people don't know what a gay guy like me, which is individual on its own, has to experience when it comes to the whole dating life, especially when you're a man and a woman or male and female, and you know that's what you're attracted to, that's what the world represents, that's what's on TV, that's what's in all the love songs that touch you. But when you have a unique love that is basically the same, you're left with an individual experience of how to get that love. And that is what I'm talking about. And before I start chatting, let me explain something. I want to let you know that I'm a product of a Western society, and I have my own complex situations as much as everybody in each culture and on this earth. So I ask that you don't get offended by anything that I do say, and maybe how I say it, because it takes a lot for me to be so unfiltered and comfortable to do so, because I have always been tactful on how I approach many situations. But anyway, and all that to say, because I do natter on, that's why I'm called Talvin Talks, because I have something to say, and maybe not to you, but hopefully it reaches you, who is a tested listener, I should say, to get a message that maybe you could relate to somebody that could help someone else, and maybe I could give the yin to your yang in your thought process. But anyway, I just wanted to let you know my experience when I first thought I fell in love. Now, I was 14. Everybody kind of knew Talvin was gay. I came out when I was 14, and this is what made me come out, actually. So you get in a come out story, and the first time I thought I fell in love. So at home, I was looking after younger brothers and sisters, didn't have much of my teenage companionship outside of that, but I had what I needed in the home. But my mom is a brilliant woman, single parent who has done the most, and being the oldest boy, you adhere to certain responsibilities, but not without, I think, a couple of people's control, or people's control in general. I suffered the hands of a lot of other things outside of that. So let alone being a teenager, looking unusual, being mixed black, white, and Indian, and having darker skin with really bright bluey green eyes that stands out, and then skin that's going through a change of spots, and an insecure family who don't teach you how to have self-worth. So you think every part of you is being attacked when it's probably not. And also, I had traumas, which I will get into, or I have gone into on my previous videos, but I'm not in the mood to do it right now. If you want to go and look, but I will talk on it further. But that's aside the point. So I never thought for a second that somebody like the person that I saw, who fit every single fairy tale dream that every girl would dream about, let alone some other context, young, gay, black, unusual, mixed kind of guy would, want. And it was the Prince Charming, the muscular, Caucasian, white, however you want to say it, gentleman with blonde hair, blue eyes, and was the Prince Charming of your life, that would cut through the rose bushes, grab the roses, chop off the thorns, and give you all the roses and save you from the tower, from that evil character or evil characters that have affected you so badly. We all want that. Oh my gosh, I used to dream of that every night. I'd sit in my window and cry looking outside, just thinking it would never happen to me. But anyway, and to say that, this particular person, who I won't name, out of respect actually, because I'm not saying this to expose him or to show that he even had the slightest thought of me in the way that I did for him, and that's okay. This is my experience I'm sharing. And like boys do, he'd be in the hallway, joking around and doing gay antics where they'd rub against you and pretend to be all extra flirty. And they were with me because it was very evident that there was something more to me than not wanting to play football and wanting to put my mom's hair extensions in and slicking with the tightest glazed gel my hair down to my forehead and all those things. That was the look in the early 2000s and the 90s. I'd seen my sister do it prior and her friends, and I kind of experimented. Few years later, when I was coming into my own. So yeah, anyway, they could tell there was something going on. And little did he know, with each touch, reassured me that I was worthy of that. I was somebody that could actually be wanted by someone who I like, who I deemed more better and worthy of everyone's love than myself. Never was I jealous. I admired and became somewhat obsessed, should you say, with the thought of him. It consumed me. So much so that I got the courage one day to, well, I was going home writing letters, doing everything creative. Thank goodness I've always been creative, but I was writing poetry about him to myself, drawing pictures of us, and truly being in that world, feeling like it was a possibility. I mean, where around do I see that apart from Queer Eye is the straight guy, and the gay guys, and they're mostly white and look different to me, would have their hair done and do women's hair, do fashionista stuff, and or be an accessory, a best friend, Will and Grace. Though I did like that. Where was my representation of where I would get love? This is all before I stole a game magazine and ran up my mom's phone bill on dirty numbers, 0900 numbers back in the day, and I felt like I would never have that. And so I wrote a lovely poem, wrote some context of what we could be doing in some extreme, how our bodies would entwine, and using our liquid DNA, if you know what I'm saying, to or do many things. It was kind of, I would question me too. I think, what's wrong with this boy? What's going on? So, yeah, I wrote a note in French class, with all that on the picture, and tied it to his hoodie, the string of his hoodie, which pulled the hood of the hoodie, if that makes sense. And he wasn't in lesson that day, but he left his hoodie, and the teacher insisted that we left it. So I stayed behind longer to leave it there. So forgetting about it completely. Next week, so whilst I was being pulled into the office, questioning why I'd put such vulgar onto a piece of paper, and is there anything I need to say, my answer was, yes, I'm gay. And the first response I got from a male tutor, and his female, I forget who she was, I don't know whether she was deputy head or whatever, he was deputy head, asked me, who am I going to tell? How am I going how and how am I going to tell them? Now, the first thing I said, I don't know. I didn't know any of this, so they told me that they need to call my mum in. Called her in. She drove me in her car. She just not long started driving, and trying to get her education, trying to be the best mum possible. Not perfect, but who is? And she said to me, "What's going on, son?" They told me this, that, and the third. She gave me the floor to say what I said, and she told me it would be a phase. I'm 35 now. This is when I was 14. She's totally accepted me now, but at the time it was seen as a phase, but I knew who I was. And it kind of opened the doors for me to go into class. This next time I was in school, I kind of thought, this is my tension. This is what I've done. I'm going to own it. Went into form class. Everyone's whispering, tutting, like they did anyway. And for me, it was just so easy to stand up and say, guys, and the tutor looked me square in the face. Everybody had the silent moment, like I was going to make a speech of something which they knew, which I did. I said, yes, I'm gay. I am gay. I'm gay. And I'm me. And sat back down. And whether you believe that or not, or think that's just a dramatic addition to me trying to build up my life and my story and exposure, no, this is my real life. My life has been dramatic, which has led me to be a dramatic responser, if that's such a word. And yeah, that relieved me and set me free. And gosh, never had that boy, obviously. He said he felt sick, didn't like the way he felt when he was reading the letter. It was disgusting. The boys chanted and laughed. And, of all that, I just kept the light open to think, you know what, there must be something more than a whole bunch of straight lads laughing at me for expressing something that I may feel towards one of them, but not seeing them as a straight lad, seeing them as something that they might feel for a girl, but I'm just one of them, and it was so confusing. Yeah, so I thought I'd share that story to let you know there's many more. Because I thought I really fell in love. That was infatuation, I'd say. I really fell in love after that. And I did another dramatic thing, which these are all the experiences that made me think, you know what, I came out really early. I had all my extremity at the start. And I've lived my comfortable gay life long enough to share my experience and help those who are going or feeling or questioning or anything of the same relation and just want to get information and be entertained, you know, where you've got your information from a genuine source that is expressing um, the true experiences that have led me to be anything close to me with the categories of what you might relate to. So thank you for coming on to Talvin Talks, and I hope you enjoyed this audio.